Hey, everybody. How's it going? Sharon Brubaker here, grief specialist and owner of the Grief School. The Grief School, the place where healing begins. And I am going live. We have a great teaching today. I just wanted to spend this week like checking in with you guys after the Mother's Day. Um, a lot of you have had different experiences with that. Some of it is still going on, but I wanted to tie it back to grief and what we are feeling, what we're experiencing, almost like an emotional check in. It's not like an emotional check in. I guess it is an emotional check in. So, checking in with y'all, seeing how you're doing, seeing how your grief is going, all of the things, right? All of the things that we normally have been talking about, but I put it sort of together in a lesson. At the end of the lesson, I have something really amazing that I want to talk about. I have a beautiful client, and her name is Suzanne, and she and I have been working on some of her grief. And she wrote, I don't even know, I kind of want to call it a poem. I think it's a poem, but maybe it's just a post. But she shared it with me. She shared it. Today is the 1 year anniversary of her partner's death. And she shared it on social media. And I asked her if I could share it in the class. And she said yes, that I absolutely could share it in the class. So at the end of the lesson today, I have the post from Suzanne that I want to share. And it is about, it's more about her reflection of living now and realizing all of the things. Hey, Erica, all of the things that she finds important now since her grief. And so I want to be able to share that and just talk a little bit about that. Okay. Here we go, guys. So glad that you're here. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm glad that you're here because we're becoming friends, and I love hanging out with you ladies. That's the part that I'm glad about. Hey, Debbie, I'm glad that you're here. I'm so sorry that you're in this club, the club that you never asked to be a part of, that you automatically became a member of, even though you didn't ask to be here, the club that forces you to learn how to survive. It forces you to learn how to stand upright. I'm sorry that you're a member of that club. If it was up to me, you'd never be a member of that club. It would have been done differently, but it's not up to me. But here's the part that is up to me, that I can guide you guys through it. I love your shirt. Oh, you're here to hear Suzanne's poem. I thank you. I got this from a clothing line that women sell from their homes. I can't remember the name of it. Cabby, is it called Cabby? And I love it. I got it probably 5 years ago, and I absolutely love it. Thank you. Margin says the worst club ever. Absolutely. The silence after loss and learning to stand in your truth when the world forgets about your grieving is why we're here today. And one of the things that I'm going to be talking about is who I am. My name is Sharon Brubaker, and I'm the owner of the Grief School. I walk with women who are grieving. I sit with you and listen to your pain. I listen to your grief so you can feel heard, so you can feel understood, so you can feel supported. And as tough as it is, so that you know that somebody else is there with you, that you know that you're not doing this by yourself. Friends, I want to tell you this. When I come in live, it's part of our community. I'm creating a community of women who support one another. And that's what this is. I'm so honored to be here for the community, to show up for the community, and so honored that you guys are here. That's number one. Number two, I'm the owner of the Grief School. I absolutely sell a program on moving, where I coach you through moving through the grief. I do have a program. So I don't want you guys thinking I'm leading you out in any way. Here's the things that you can get in the community. You can get the blog. You can get the podcast. You can get the lives. You can get the grief study hall. You can get the griever's guide. If you click the link in my bio, there you can find the griever's guide. If you click the link in the description of the live, there you can get click click onto the Beacons AI, the grief school, and it shows you all the places that I am. I want to be honest up front. I want to be honest with you guys always. So let's do our check-in. As I said, I'm so glad you're there, that you're here. I want you to know this. If you're in TikTok right now and you have some posts, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to come back to you in just a minute. I'm going to teach the lesson first, and then I'm going to close the live, and then we're going to end on TikTok there, where I can answer any questions for you. So let's begin here. You're not behind. You're not doing this wrong. You're not doing the grief wrong, even though it feels bad, even though it feels terrible, even though it feels like the worst experience of your life, even though you think you're not going to make it out the other side. You're not broken. You are not broken, my friends. You are grieving. And that matters. I'm going to say it again. You are not broken. You are grieving, and that matters. There is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling the weight of this loss every single day as you go on. Even though some of you are getting a break and you can feel the relief sometimes, and you can laugh and you can have conversations and you can enjoy the cup of vanilla ice cream, but immediately you go back to feeling that pain. There's nothing wrong with having bad days. You are not weak because you have bad days. You're not weak because you can't get out of bed today. You are grieving. And you have to start acknowledging it for yourself. Hear me out, friends. I sit with grievers. I sit with women who are grieving. I lost my nephew Austin in 2006. In 2014, we lost our dad. In 2015, we lost Austin's brother Donovan. In 2017, I lost my best friend Sharon. And when I tell you that there is nothing wrong with you not wanting to get out of bed and you feeling the weight of the loss all day long and feeling like you are carrying a mountain up your back, it is absolutely true. I want to continue with that. There's nothing shameful about crying in your car. There's nothing shameful about you running out of the grocery store because you saw their favorite box of cereal and then running to your car and getting it out there. There should be nothing shameful about you zoning out at work. There's nothing wrong with you being numb at the sight of someone who reminds you of your person, and you see them and it takes your breath away. Friends, that is what real grief feels like, and that's what it looks like. And so today I want to invite each and every one of you to check in with yourself. Not about fixing anything. I just want you to notice. I just want you to notice. How are you really doing? How are you really doing? How are you doing today? B. Garza says, I started listening to your podcast and they are so good. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. If you want any of the podcasts with Erica, go back to 2018. How are you doing today? What kind of grief day is today? Debbie, I'm trying to teach here. Will you stop? Debbie said, I just noticed how pretty your eyes are, and I'm not flirting. I'm trying to teach here, lady. User 2279 says she's feeling depressed. What kind of grief day is today? Is it heavy? Is it flat? Are you depressed? Are you angry? Aida says it's a sad day today. Are you exhausted? Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're okay today. Maybe today, maybe right now as I'm talking is an okay day for you. Rosa says, stop, Miss Debbie. Sometimes it's going to be a depressed day, a sad day, a broken day, an angry day, I can't breathe day. I can't breathe. My chest is not moving. I can't feel, I'm feeling this in my entire body. I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my gut. I feel it in my throat. You feel it right here when it needs to come out. I feel it in my back. Is it okay to feel numb? Absolutely. The numb is a protection mechanism. B. Garza 23 says, is it okay to feel numb? The numb is a protection mechanism. Friends, as long as you're feeling numb, I want you leaning into the numb. Be okay with the numb because eventually the numb is going to wear off. It's cold in here. Ah, the numb is going to start to wear off. The numb serves a purpose. And the purpose of the numb is for you to just easily, slowly walk into the grieving experience. The numb serves a purpose. You're going to walk into the numb slowly. You're going to walk into the grief slowly, and the numb is going to allow you to do that. And then eventually, hear me out, the numb is going to wear off. And when the numb wears off, you're going to be in it, sister. I've noticed I wake up crying every day since Mother's Day. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this as a check-in since Mother's Day. Since Mother's Day, every day after work, in bed, staying up until morning, just scrolling, just needing to get away from the day, needing to get away from the grief. Susan, you're just scrolling, trying to get away from the grief. Monette says, I have new pain. I've been crying quite a bit. How are you really doing? When was the last time you said your person's name out loud? When was the last time you heard someone else say your person's name out loud? When was the last time you heard their name at all? Do you say Austin? Do you say Donovan? Do you say Mom? Do you say Sharon? Those are my people. Do you say Dad? I want you guys to understand that grief is not just emotional. It is physical. It will take your sleep, your appetite, your ability to focus. It messes with your concentration on time. It jacks up your calendar. It doesn't allow you to get things done. It slows everything down inside of you, even while the world is really spinning and really spinning fast. Here's the deal. Everything is going slow and fast at the same time. And here we are. Someone asked me if they could be numb, trying to figure out what to do with this grief, trying to figure out how to move through this grief. And because the world is not giving us the space to totally lean into the grief, we start pretending that we're fine. We start pretending that everything is okay. We do one of four things when we come upon our grieving experience. We resist the grief. We avoid the grief. We pretend like the grief is not there, or we react to the grief. And one of the major things that we do is pretending. We shove it further down where it can't be touched by anyone else, where it will start to fester. Especially after a holiday like Mother's Day. If you, my friends, did not lean into your grief 100% for your Mother's Day, there is residual grief that will show up now. There is residual grief that will show up and it will hang on. Today, I want to remind you that you don't have to be healed right now to be allowed to have grief. Hold on, my phone needs to be plugged in. I don't have to be healed right now. All I have to be right now is honest. All I have to be right now is honest. I just need to be honest with my grief. I need to be honest with where I'm at in my grief. There's this silence after a storm. So Sunday was Mother's Day. I want you guys to picture Sunday was Mother's Day. If you did not lean into your grief on Saturday or Friday before Sunday, it may have hit you Sunday night or Monday or Tuesday. And here we are at Wednesday. Friends, there's a silence after a storm. Sunday on Mother's Day was a storm for us. And this is something that no one really tells us about grief. What happens after the initial chaos? Sunday was a holiday. It is not uncommon after a holiday for us to have a major grieving experience. And this, I created this as a 3-part. So I did yesterday was day 1 and today's day 2, actually 4-part, and I'll do Thursday and then Saturday, just as a check-in. Tracy says it's a melancholy grief day. When I'm talking about the silence after the storm, hear me out, my friends. I absolutely have. Now I'm just exhausted. You guys noticed this storm before, so let me bring you back. There's something that no one tells you about what happens after the initial chaos fades. So this, and it's similar to what happened after the funeral. After the funeral, everyone kind of went away. They kind of faded into the background. When we have special days like Sunday, it's sort of a reminder for us. It's sort of a reminder for us that the same thing is going on. There wasn't a funeral. There wasn't an obituary. There wasn't casseroles. There wasn't cards. But something big happened on Sunday. Sunday was Mother's Day. And after Sunday, maybe some people asked you about it. Maybe some people didn't ask you about it. Maybe you did a special celebration. But did people show up for you? Were you allowed to show up for Mother's Day as the griever? Are you allowing yourself to be the griever on this Mother's Day? I'm talking about where the rest of the world forgets, but you're still walking in the wreckage. Here you are as a griever, still going about your day, still doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, and then Mother's Day comes. We all know this. In the beginning, people show up, but did they show up for us this week? You guys, they mean well, right? They absolutely mean well. They call, they check in, they tell you, let me know if you need anything. But somewhere along the way, the meals stop coming, the texts stop showing up, and the world moves on. And here we are at Mother's Day, while the whole world is doing their thing, the whole world's doing what they need to do, and everything has stopped. You're left sitting in the quiet, wondering how everyone else could have gone back to their life, how everyone else could be celebrating Mother's Day, how everyone else can be celebrating their child when I still can't breathe. I can't breathe. Where did you go? I need you. And then you go in, you find them, and then they say something totally stupid. You're still grieving? Shouldn't you be past that? Shouldn't you have moved on? I work with this lady who was married for 35 years. And when her husband passed away, the first few weeks, it was like, I couldn't believe what she told me people were doing. People had come in and painted her house. They helped her get rid of a few things. She had a broken garage door that someone fixed. The garage door opener was broken. People were showing up for her like none other. They were offering her help. There was flowers at the door. There was food. She can count it to the day on the calendar. It was like exactly at the 6-week point. At the 6-week point, she was like, someone sent out a message. She said she went back to her calendar and she looked at the last phone call she got, the last time someone asked her, it was like someone sent out a message and said, we're done. And everything dried up. And the reason I'm talking about this is because the next thing she had to do was she had to go through Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, all of the rest of the holidays on her own. She was like, people were not even calling me to see how I was doing. She said it was a few weeks after that, the 6 weeks, like she felt like everybody got the call, that one of her friends told her, he would want you to be happy now. He would want you to be happy now. She hadn't even cleaned out his closet yet. And she said that she got the feeling the friend was implying that she should get somebody to new. She should start dating. And she hadn't even cleaned out the closet yet. And she said to me, "Can I be honest with you?" And I was like, "Absolutely, because that's really what I'd like you to be honest." She said, "I don't want to be happy. I don't want to be happy with someone else. I don't want someone thinking that I'm happy. I don't want to be happy." And here, well, her point was she didn't want to be happy. She wanted to be honest. She wanted to be able to share her grief with her friends. She wanted to be able to sit with them and cry, but they didn't allow her the space. I remember she started crying and I got teary eyed. She's like, "I don't want to be happy." It's not that she didn't want to be happy. She didn't want to have to be happy for them. She didn't want to fake having to be happy. If being happy meant that she needed a new husband, she didn't want to be that happy. She was okay with being a griever. She was absolutely okay with that. She gave words to what she was feeling and she shared her honesty with me. Friends, you are not meant to rush through this. And just because there was a special day like Mother's Day, we got Father's Day coming up, doesn't mean that you're not going to have some grief behind it. You are not expected to match other people's comfort zones. That ain't your job. Your job is not to make other people feel comfortable. It's just not. You're not meant to rush through this, and you're not meant to make other people feel comfortable. And you're certainly not required to smile so they can feel less awkward with your grief. Sorry, they don't get that. The silence that you're feeling right now is not your fault. It's what happens. Listen to me. It's what happens when the world confuses your grief with an inconvenience for them. I want you guys to keep putting it where it belongs. Put the grief where it belongs. Put the uncomfortability where it belongs. Your grief is not done just because you cried. Your grief is not done just because they've moved on. Your grief is not done just because the funeral is over. The grief ends when you've done the healing and when the healing begins, and the healing takes time. It takes time for you to do the healing. And I'm going to be honest, there are women in here who know this. Real healing is not passive, it is painful. It requires you to slow down. Real healing is going to require you to feel. Real grief healing is going to require you to speak. It's going to require you to say their name. It's also going to require you to say the name of what is hurting. Stop pretending like everything is okay just because everybody else seems to be okay. Real healing is going to require you to go inside and look at yourself. Give me the time frame. You guys, give me the time frame. I want to know this from each of you if you know. When is the time frame when you noticed the world stopped asking you about your grief? Was it 3 weeks after the funeral? I want to know after the funeral. What is the time frame when people stopped asking you about your grief? Do you know? Was it the 3 week point? Was it the 4 week point? At what point after the funeral do you think most people pulled away from you? Thank you, 8459. 4 weeks. 8459 says it was about 4 weeks. 4 weeks after the funeral. Lazy Paws says probably about a month. Probably about a month later. Aida says I didn't notice. Aida, I want to also say to you, not to I just want you to tell me this. You have brothers and sisters that you were very close to that you guys are all grieving. Do you think that made a difference? Just a question. Tracy says 3 weeks. Rachel says 3 weeks. Erica and I believe it's about at the 3 week point. It's about, Lisa says the day after the funeral. When is the first time you notice that people stop asking you how you are doing? Aida says no. She doesn't think it's because she's close with her brothers and sisters. She just thinks she didn't notice. Bright Eye says 2 weeks. I have a question for you. Debbie Decker says immediately. Do you want people to come up and say your person's name? Do you want them to tell a story about your person? How would it feel if someone came up to you and started talking about your mom, telling a funny story about your mom? Would you want that? Debbie says yes. Tracy says yes. Lazy Paw says yes. Butterfly Roses. Oh, thank you for the glitter badge. I like that. I would love that. Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you want people to come up and start talking about your person, or would you rather have them ask you about your grief? Okay, one about your person, two about your grief. What do you want people to do? Do you want to ask about your person or talk about your grief? One for person, two for grief. Two, Lazy Paw says she'd rather have them ask you about the grief. Lisa says I'd rather the person, number one. Tammy says one, talk about my person. Tracy says one, talk about my person. Jan Miller says two, she'd like them to talk about the grief. I'm only close to my brother, not my younger siblings. Okay, Aida, thank you. Two, she'd rather talk about the grief. Bright Eyes said she'd rather talk about the grief. Sorry for your loss. Offer there to talk to and shit, but when you need them, they ain't there. Yes, that's exactly right. You're exactly right. They offer to talk about it, but when you need them, they're not here. I want to hear her name, Summer. Is it summer? Is it pronounced summer or summer? Most people just really don't know what to say. That's it. They don't know what to say. I think also they're afraid they're going to upset you, so they don't say anything. I think they're afraid they're going to upset you, so they don't say anything. What if she starts crying? Then what am I going to do? And they hear me out. They think summer like the season. Okay, thank you, Debbie. They think they are also. I love that you spelled it with an R. They think it's their job to fix you. And if it's my job to fix you and I don't have any great advice for you, then I'm going to show up, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the grief or your person. Lazy Paw says a friend asked her how you were doing, and that was really helpful. I have a beautiful lady in here, and her name is Julie, and she comes in quite often. And I love, 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 love this. Julie's dad asked her one day, she lost her sister and she was really struggling. He said, how goes the battle? Man, that's all they have to do is ask one question about the grief and it changes it. Ask one question about the grief. Tell me a Donovan story. Okay, yes or no? Have you ever pretended that you were okay when you absolutely weren't? Yes or no? Have you ever pretended that you were absolutely okay when you weren't? I've had asked once a week how I feel by a coworker. I love it. Yes. Lazy Paw says no. Aida says yes. Stormy says yes. Debbie says yes. Bright Eyes, yes. Tracy says absolutely. Sheila, what is your dog's name? Share your dog's name. Sheila said, I just lost my soul dog and I'm so lost. Share your baby's name so we can honor him here. Lazy Paw says, I'm really open with my emotions. I love it when we're really open with our emotions. Sheila's fur baby was named Sandy. Everybody, can we tap the screen for Sheila and Sandy? I'm so sorry for your loss, Sheila. Okay. What is something you're still holding on to that no one talks about? What is something that you are still holding on to that no one talks about? What is something you're holding on to that no one talks about? I'm so sorry, Sheila. Sheila took her to the vet 3 times and she still passed. Thank you, everyone. I love it. What is something that you're still holding on to? The trauma of it. Jan says, my daughter's funeral. Jan, that's really interesting. Jan says, my daughter's funeral, and I want to talk about that. I honestly believe that grievers need to talk about the funeral. I truly believe, and I'm getting this from my own experience, I needed to talk about every aspect of Austin's funeral. I need to talk about what it felt like for me to be there, what it felt like to be in the funeral, what other people were doing, what I thought other people were doing, how I was feeling, standing up there, seeing the coffin, all of that. I needed to talk about that. I had to get it out. I couldn't just keep it in. And I think it's important. I also wanted to hear this. Jan, tell me if this is something for you. I wanted to hear other people's experience, because it is an out of body experience of something that you've never had before. It is an experience that you've never had before. So talking about it helped me to process it. Talking is the number one thing that grievers need to do in the beginning. They need to talk. They need to talk about what's happened in them. They need to talk about the funeral. They need to talk about what they're feeling. But if we have nowhere to lay this, where are we going to talk about it? Sheila says the guilt, like I didn't do enough. Sheila, I'm going to make a note of that. And at the end of this live, I'm going to come back. If you hold on, I want to help you with the guilt. Butterfly Rosa says, I think we have too many expectations. Expectations on people in the room or expectations on ourselves? Thank you all for the gifts. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Rosa said she'd love to talk about the trauma of her sister had to live. A past abortion, I wasn't something I wanted to do and still grieving 27 years later. 5424, 100%. 100%. The grief from that can hang on. Absolutely. And 27 years ago, I bet you, bless your heart, had nowhere to lay it. As grievers, we need to talk about these things so that our brain and our heart can come onto the same page. Your brain intellectually knows what happened, but your heart is really, really having a hard time figuring it out. TikTok, I'm going to be back in a minute. Keep posting. I got some more questions. I want to do a quick commercial. My name is Sharon Brubaker, and I'm the owner of the Grief School, the place where healing begins. In 2006, my nephew Austin drowned at the lake on Father's Day weekend, and I had to tell my sister that he was gone and we had found his little body and he had in fact drowned. One of the things that she and I were looking for was all of the grief help, and I couldn't find anything. And so very quickly, I want to tell you, if any of this that I'm saying today feels familiar to you or it sounds like your story, I want you to know there's a place for you to start. This is the community that I'm building together of women who come together, who are grieving to support one another. We often joke that we're the grief gang. But I want you to click on the link here in the bio that says click here for hope. And I want you to download the Griever's Guide. It is something that Erica and I wrote together, and it is the best definition. I couldn't find a definition for grief, so I wrote it. And now I'm writing the book called Grieve That Shit, which is an even deeper definition. It is the book that came out of the Griever's Guide. If you click on the link in my bio, if you're on the live, you just click on the link at the end of the post, in the description in the bio, and it says Beacons AI, the Grief School. There you can sign up to get on the wait list for the Grieve That Shit book, or you can download the Griever's Guide. I created this to give you the truth about grief, not the polished version, not the 5 stages, not the empty cliches, just the truth. Grief is an emotional experience that takes place in our heart. Grief is the pain that our heart goes through. And it is something that we made, and I'm giving back to the community. So it's a gift to you. There's no fluff, no pressure. Just download it and you can start there. It's a great place to start. Okay. That was my commercial. I'm done. One of the hardest things that we often have to do in grief is realize how we got it wrong, how we got it wrong as a society, how we got it wrong as a humankind. I'm telling you, my friends, you've heard this 100 times. I'm going to feel like this for the rest of my life is a lie. It's a lie that we've been sold. One, it's a lie because we hear other people say it and we feel like it's true. Two, it's a lie because in our gut we feel like that's how we're going to feel. The pain, Sheila says, the pain is unbearable. It is the pain that we can go after. It is the pain that we can pull out step by step. The world has fed us a lie and with these expectations that the grief is going to be stop us in our tracks and we're absolutely going to be here. But I want to honor you, Miss Sheila. I want to honor each and every one of you. The pain that you feel is real. It is absolutely real. But the way we go about dealing with the grief and dealing with the pain has been wrong. And I owe you all an apology because I've been holding back on sharing that. And I'm not going to be silent anymore. When people tell you you should be over this by now, that is bullshit. It takes what it takes. And I don't know what time it's going to take. But I'd rather sit with you, Miss Sheila, and talk about the pain and talk about your beautiful Sandy instead of you just having you sit in that pain. Time passes. Healing takes work. And it takes space. It takes the space for others to give it to you and for you to give it to yourself. It takes telling the truth about what you lost. It takes having someone else listen to you about how this pain feels. It takes the space of allowing yourself to feel the pain, allowing yourself to be there, allowing yourself to say her name, to say his name, to say what this pain is. It takes the space for you to allow other people, even if they are feeling uncomfortable, for you to be okay with where you're at. And Miss Sheila, I want to say this. It's going to be really hard for you, especially to be around other people and trying to express the loss of your dog. They are going to not give you that space very quickly, my friend. And I'm so sorry. People will tell you you're being dramatic. And I want you to understand this. Grief is dramatic. It absolutely is. Well, you're being so dramatic. Well, please tell me one other thing that's more dramatic than grief. Please tell me that. What's one more thing that's more dramatic than grief? It blows up. Grief blows up everything you've ever thought, everything you've ever felt, every experience you ever had. It gets blown out of the water when you're grieving. Tell me something that's more dramatic than that. Grief changes your relationship. It changes your relationship with your people. It changes your relationship with yourself. It changes the relationship with the person that you knew was going to show up for you. I know she's going to be here. She's my best friend. She's going to totally show up. And then she doesn't. Or you change and you don't show up as the person you thought you would be. Grief takes you from laughing one minute to sobbing the next. And that can be weeks, days, and months into the grief. So tell me what's more dramatic than that. Don't tell me I'm being dramatic. This shit is dramatic. Give me a break. You are not unstable. They're going to come back and they're going to hear me out. We were talking about friends showing up for us earlier. One, they're going to tell you to stop being dramatic, but they're also going to tell you have to be strong for the kids. You know, hey, Marta, the kids need you right now. You need to be strong for your kids. Hear me out, my friends. When they tell you to be strong, they are speaking to your head. And I'm going to role play this for you right now so you guys understand what I'm talking about. There's two types of grief. There's intellectual grief, which takes place in our brain. There's emotional grief, which takes place in our heart. For all of us, we need the grievers and our support to speak to our heart. but most of them are going to be speaking to our head and to our brain. Miss Erica says, I wasn't strong for my kids. I couldn't. You are stronger than you know. Showing up as the griever is the strongest thing that you could have done for them. And let's be honest, Erica, let's talk about that. Their dad is not the last grieving experience they're going to have. They're going to have more grieving experience. They're going to lose their grandma. Hi, Flower Girl. They're going to lose their grandma. They're going to lose their grandpa. They're going to lose their aunts. They're going to lose their uncles. They're going to lose their fur babies. What you did for them was show them how to grieve. You showed up strong. Yeah, you weren't holding them up, but you showed up strong. I'm not trying to fix it. I just want you to know the tools that you left them are invaluable. Hey, D, I see you. Hold on one second. Okay, so I'm going to role play this. Girl, you need to get it together. You need to get this shit together because these kids need you. He wouldn't want you to be like this. You need to be strong for them. You take that mess in the room. You grieve in the room. Right? As opposed to this friend. I honestly can't imagine what this is like for you. I'm so scared for you and for the kids right now. I'm going to sit here with you. You can say whatever you need. You can cry. I'm going to sit here. And don't you worry about these kids. I'm going to take care of their needs. I'll get them their lunch. And I just want you to tell me whatever you want to tell me. You're free to share. And I want you to know that I may cry too, but it's only because I love you. So 2 different friends that are going to show up. One is speaking here and one is speaking here. We recognize this friend. We see her. We know her. We feel her. We lean into her. She knows how to say it. She's probably been a griever before. She's speaking to this, which is what we need, not to this. Most of the time, and what really upsets us is that they all speak to this, not to this. They'll tell us to be strong for our kids, but strength isn't pretending that you're fine. Did you hear me, Erica? Strength is not pretending you're fine. Strength is crying in front of your children so they know that there's going to be some bad days. Strength is crying in front of your children so they know it's okay to cry in front of you. I had a client call me once, and she was like, do you work with children? And I don't. I have, but I don't. She said, oh, I was wondering if you could work with my teenage son. His father died. His father died. Okay, were you guys not married? Were you divorced? Oh, his father died. I'm so sorry to hear that. My heart to yours. How's he doing? I said, may I ask, his father died. Were you guys not married? Were you guys divorced? Oh, no, we were married. He's my husband. The way she even described it came out intellectual. And I said, well, why is it that I need to help him? What is going on with you? And you guys have a podcast coming out. Some of the videos from that podcast are already playing on TikTok with Shane. So cute. She came to me to help her stepdaughter because the exact same kind of thing. Can you help my daughter with the grief? Well, I am not sharing my grief in front of him because I don't want to upset him. I don't want to upset him. I see you, D. I'll be there in a minute. I don't want to upset him. So when I grieve, I just go in the room and close the door. Well, what is he doing? Well, I don't know. He goes in his room and he closes his door. I just think he needs help. If we go in our room and we close the door and we don't share our grief with other people, we don't talk to other people, we don't share our grief in front of our children. We go in our room and we close the door and we cry quietly in the room without our children seeing us. How the hell are they going to learn how to grieve? The way we learned how to grieve? I mean, I remember my aunt dying when I was 16 years old. 2 weeks after the funeral was over, we went back to our life. My parents didn't say, this is grief. This is what grief feels like. This is how you're going to feel. It was none of that. We were just expected to go back to our life. Bella Red said, yes, we have to be transparent. Strength isn't pretending you're fine. Strength is crying in front of your children. Strength is also telling your children, some days I'm going to have a really bad day. Some days you're going to have a really bad day. Both of them are going to be okay. Sometimes you're going to come home from school and I'm going to be crying, but I want you to know I'm going to be okay. I just miss dad and I just need to cry. The same client that didn't, who called me about her son, years later, her daughter told her sometime later after the dad died, I thought you didn't care. I thought you didn't love dad. I never saw you grieve. And if you didn't grieve, that meant to me that you didn't love him. What our kids need is not perfection. They need to know that grief is allowed. They need to know that we are going to fall apart. They need to know that we're human. They need to know this. So do our friends. We need to be able to grieve in front of them. And if they can't handle it, it's on them. Then don't come around. I'm okay with that. You are not doing it wrong because you haven't moved on. I promise you, my friends, you are not doing it wrong because you haven't moved on. You are grieving, and your grief is taking up space, and it's taking up space in your whole life, in your whole world. It changes you. It interrupts everything. So when they tell you to stop being dramatic, you're like, I don't know. There's nothing more dramatic than grief. But it doesn't make you broken. It makes you honest. It makes you honest when you can share it. You're not on anyone's timeline but your own. You don't owe anyone a performance. You only owe them your truth. I promise you, friends, that's all you owe them. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Have you ever told someone to be strong? Have you ever told someone to be strong? I don't know that I ever told anyone to be strong, but I distinctly remember telling a friend of mine who had had a miscarriage, well, you can have more kids. You can have more babies. Uh, it was before I was a griever, before I knew any of this. Kendall says, I can't unsee the crime photos and seeing how bored and unaffected Nathan Gilmore at sentencing. Oh, okay. All right. That's part of your grief, Kendall. Kendall, it's part of your grief. You've got to go in and grieve all of that. And forever you're going to see the you guys, I'm sorry, I'm in Arizona. I'm traveling. And I normally have a whiteboard behind me. Hold on one second. I'm going to draw this out. And I need a bigger pen. Hold on one second, Kendall. And I didn't turn the camera around. This is your brain. This is your broken heart. Your brain is seeing the photos. Hold, please. I want to turn this around so you can see it. Hold on one second. All right. So your brain sees the photos. Seeing the photos and the memories of the photos is intellectual. So your brain sees the photos. Every time your brain sees the photos, it sends a thought. So brain sees photos, it sends a thought. Brain sees photos, it sends a thought. Every time it sends a thought, there is an emotion attached to it. Brain sees photos, it has a thought, and then there's an emotion. The brain and the heart connect right here. And there's an emotion. I don't know what the emotion is. I'm going to make this up. You see the photos? You have a thought. It sends an emotion to your heart. The emotion is broken. And then you start saying, I can't see the photos. I can't see the photos. I can't see the photos. Part of the can't see the photos is a thought that you keep saying in your brain, and then you feel this broken. Okay. What is happening every time you see the photos is a heartstring. We call it a heartstring. It's the thought and then the emotions send a heartstring. And you feel it right here in your heart. You see the photos, or you just think about those photos, and it pulls at your heart. Who told me this? Kendall. Kendall, where the grief work needs to be done, I'm sorry that I'm drawing this on a piece of paper, is right here, my love. This sounds crazy, but this part right here where the heartstring is happening, I'm trying to get this lined up on the camera, right there is where we need to cut the connection. We have to go in there and you have to do the work and you cut the connection. What does that mean? That means every time you see the photo, you break down, you break apart. What we need to do when you're doing your grief work, you go in there, you will still see the photos. You will still have a thought about it. It will still send an emotion. But if the grief work is done properly and correctly, there should be no connection to a heartstring. That emotion should not pull on you. You have an emotional connection to the photos, my love. Hear me out. I want everybody to hear this. This is for everybody. We all have that. We have multiple connections to our grief. We have multiple emotional connections to our grief. We all have it. You just have a trigger for yours, my love. And we all have triggers. Your trigger is those photos and then being in the sentencing. If the I don't know your story, Miss Kendall, but if your case is over and it's done, it's now time to do the grief work, my love. And I'm here for you. Anything that you need. Hear me out. You will forever see the photos. The photos will not go away. Right now, when I just said that to you, I pictured Austin in the casket. I have a forever image of Austin sitting in the casket, a little child, 10 years old, in a casket. I have a forever image of me talking something really important to the funeral home. But there's no emotional pull on my heart because I've cut that string. When you do your grief work, you cut that string. I will forever see Donovan laying on the table in the funeral home. I can see my dad. I can see Sharon. But I don't have an emotional attachment to it because I've done the work on that. D, I see you. I'm going to be right back. Don't leave with that. You guys, I have something really special I want to share. Right after I do this commercial, I'm going to share something really special. So hang on here. I'd love you guys to hang on. That makes a lot of sense. Kendall, and the other thing is most people don't realize that. So what I want you to do is I want you to do this. The next time you see the images in your head of the crime scene photos, what is the thought your brain is playing? Is it, I can't see those photos. These photos are so bad. I'm never going to get these photos out of my mind. I want you to see if you can capture what the thought is about the photos. So here's the photos that comes in your brain, and then you have a thought. Capture that thought. It's this thought that's sending the emotion to your heart. And if I were working with you, that's where I would go. That's honestly where I would go. I've been holding grief for you grievers inside of this grief for the past 18 years. And I want to personally invite you, each and every one of you, to Grief Study Hall. Grief Study Hall is every Tuesday from 1 to 3 Central Standard Time. We meet live, real time, where I can coach you personally. It is another way that I give back to the community. There's no pressure. There's no perfection. It's a drop-in, drop-out group. You don't have to come every week. You don't have to stay for the whole 2 hours. Recently, we were just talking about how to clean out the closet. Tuesday, we were talking about how to show up at an event and tell somebody that your person has died. How do I do that? We role play. We go inside of Grief Study Hall and we help you. I haven't cleaned out the room. I haven't cleaned out the closet. I miss someone who wasn't perfect. We talk about things inside Grief Study Hall. It is where I can be with you and coach you one on one. Here, we're just having a one-way conversation. In Grief Study Hall, you guys can come to the table and I can coach you. I absolutely teach a lesson in Grief Study Hall. I created a 3-part series that we're doing right now, and I don't remember the name of it. So it's every Tuesday. Go to the link in my bio. You can click on the link in my bio, and there you can find Grief Study Hall. You can sign up there. When you sign up for Grief Study Hall, you will automatically get a reminder email. Here's the other thing. If you're in the Facebook group, which is the Grief School, the live recordings, which you see right now, are in the Facebook group. You can get them in the Facebook group. They stay up all day. So if you don't, I vary my times. So if you don't come in on a live, you can go to the Grief School on Facebook, and the lives are stored in there. Also, put a lot of journal questions in there. I put journal questions in the live. All right, friends. On the last 15 minutes, I want to share something really beautiful. I'm working with a beautiful sister, and her name is Suzanne. And on Monday, she wrote something. She's at her 1-year anniversary. She's at the 1-year anniversary for the loss of her person, and I asked her if I could read it. I want to read something written by one of our grief sisters. Someone who, like many of you, have been living with the ache for the last 12 months. I want you to hear her words. She posted this live and she's allowed me to share it. And I have a little bit of a teaching after this. I call it a poem, but maybe it's not a poem. Living with grief. Take a moment, really take it, and look at the most important person in your life. Let your eyes trace every detail. The curve of their smile, the warmth in their eyes, and the shape of their hands. The way their laugh dances in the air. Absorb them. Memorize them. Now close your eyes and imagine opening them to nothing, just darkness. A world drained of color, sound, and meaning. No landmarks, no comfort, no trace of the one you love. You reach out, desperate, but there's nothing. No voice to answer, no warmth to hold, only the aching silence of absence. This is where I live now. This has been my whole world for 12 months. Grief is not just sadness. It is suffocating, an endless ache, a heavy veil that wraps around your chest and steals your breath. I live in that darkness. I move through it, every step weighed down by the loss that has hollowed out my soul. You, though you can still open your eyes and see your person, you can hear them laugh, feel their arms around you. You can whisper, I love you, and hear it back. You cannot fathom this kind of pain, and I hope you never will. But you can do something. You can treasure every shared moment like it's the last. Guard each smile, every embrace, every quiet word that like rare jewels. Don't take a single second for granted. I miss him every second of every day. I miss his voice, his smell, his presence beside me. I miss who I was when he was here. I miss us. Most of all, I miss the woman I used to be before he died. She's gone. In her place stands someone new, someone forged in grief, shaped by pain. She's tired. She's tender and she's raw, but she fights still. Crawling out of the shadow, she claws her way back forward, stretching for light in the world that no longer feels like home. This is grief. It's not a polished version, not the version wrapped in the sympathy cards of how everyone was talking to you. This is real grief, the kind that changes you, my friend. It's real grief. It's about your identity, the kind that steals your breath in the middle of the grocery store. She was talking about that, the kind that rearranges your entire sense of self. Grief doesn't take just your person. It takes you. It takes who you were. It takes that version of you that no longer exists with them. And when people say, you'll be okay, you're so strong, they often miss this part. They miss that you don't have that anymore. They miss that you don't even have you anymore. But here's what I want you to notice in her words: the raw beauty of how someone crawls forward anyway. She doesn't have the answers, but she's still moving forward. She didn't have a map. She didn't offer you a map, but she keeps showing up. She keeps showing up broken. She shows up tender. She shows up tired. She still is reaching for the light. This is what living with grief looks like. It doesn't look like getting over it. It doesn't look like moving on. It doesn't look like a world who's going to honor this grief and knows what it feels like, but honoring the ache while building something new, piece by piece, breath by breath, and coming out of the darkness. What part of her poem hit you the most? What part made the most sense to you? What part did you sense? Think about that. You are not alone in this darkness, my friend. I'm here with you, and I will hold your hand and I will walk through this darkness with you. I'm ready to fight the fight with you as you find your way forward. I'm so honored that each and every one of you are here. I really am. Suzanne, thank you for sharing your beautiful poem with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much. Okay, everybody in Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, thank you for being here. I'm so honored that we could be here. I'm going to hang out with my friends in TikTok for a little bit longer, and I will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Know that I see you. Know that I am you. Know that I'm honored to be here with you. Thank you, friends.